What's up, Foster family? I'm Jake and this is my friend Caleb, and today we are here to bring you a message for the juniors / early teens Sabbath school. And we are excited. And what we're going to be talking about today is something that was from the lesson of this past week. I think it was on Friday, and that is authenticity. So I'm going to read a little excerpt from this, and it says, what does it mean to be authentic? Data reported by CNBC shows that authenticity is an important value for Gen Z, with 67% of those surveyed agreeing that being true to their values and beliefs makes a person cool. And then it goes on to say, as followers of Jesus, being authentic also means that you recognize that you can't be who you were created to be without God's help. And we actually have a verse to go along with that Caleb is going to read.
So the verse that I'm going to read is 2 Corinthians 12, 8 to 10. And just a little context to this verse. This is Paul talking to the Corinthians, and he's talking about a thorn in his side, or a weakness that he had. And you can speculate all you want over what that thorn in his side was, but I think that it wasn't specified so that we can relate with it. In verse 8 it reads, 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong.
Caleb, that was a great reading, Caleb. I love that energy. So I think one of the things that this verse is saying is that one of the first steps to being authentic is identifying your weaknesses. So today,
Definitely.
Caleb, myself, and you as well are going to talk about some of our weaknesses. Caleb, we'll start with you. What are some weaknesses that you have in your life? Let's identify those.
Okay, definitely I think that like putting on a face or wearing a mask is something that I struggle with. I'm not sure if you said it already, but I am a theology major at Southern, and I feel like because I'm a theology major and a prospective pastor, that I have to put on a face towards those that could possibly be my superiors in the future, or like my bosses, right? Because no one wants to hire a sinful pastor, but the reality is that we're all sinful. Yet I still feel this pressure that I need to act or portray myself in a way that shows those who will hire me that I am not sinful. You get what I'm saying? I think that's very dangerous, and I actually have a story to go with that. See, nowadays we all have to wear masks to go outside. Because COVID, obviously.
Yes.
Social distance.
Yes. We're 6 feet apart. You just can't tell.
6 feet apart in spirit.
Yes.
But I was buying some guitar supplies. I had to get strings, a capo, and a strap for my guitar. And I went to Guitar Center, and they had me wait outside for a second. And then one of the employees came out. He was wearing a mask, and he says, what do you need? I say, I need strings, capo, and a guitar strap. He's like, okay, you can come in, but you have to wear a mask. So I had my mask in the car, right, which was across the street. And so I was so tunnel visioned on getting my grocery shopping list done that I was like, I need to go and get my mask, because that's what's going to be the next step in the process, right? So I was running across the road, and in the corner of my right eye, I see a car speeding right to me. And if I didn't hop out of the way, the car would have hit me. Looking back on it, that mask was not worth my life. And looking forward into my life, my mask that I put on is not worth my eternal life. Putting on this fake facade to try and protect myself is not worth my life. In that situation, I could have got to my mask just fine by not running across the road. And in that situation, that mask was required. But what's different about that situation and the situation that I face daily is that the mask is not required. Me running to it is not required. Because God says in 2 Corinthians 12, verse 8, my power is sufficient for you. For my power is made perfect in weakness. So he tells me I don't have to put on that facade. He tells me that I don't have to act like I'm something that I'm not, but instead I can be authentic and say, yes, I'm a human. I struggle. I mess up. But hey, that's what makes God's power all the more beautiful in my life.
Yeah, that's wow, Pastor Caleb, everyone. That was great. I think one of the things, one of my weaknesses that I really struggle with, kind of goes along with what you were saying, is that struggling of struggling with other people, like that competitiveness. Like you see, oh, this person has this. Why am I not there? This person's better at this sport than me. Why can't I? This person's faster than me. This person is more artistic. Is more Caleb can play the guitar. I can't play the guitar. I would love to be able to play guitar, but I cannot. And then that competitiveness, I think, is one of what my weaknesses. And a way I try to overcome that is by spending some time in the Word with God and asking God to help me to overcome these weaknesses. Help you to shine through me and not these weaknesses. And one of the verses that definitely helps me is Galatians 6:4, and it says, "Pay careful attention to your own work, not to somebody else's work, not to Caleb's excellent guitar playing, but to my own work. For then you will get the satisfaction of a job well done, and you won't need to compare yourself to anyone else." And I think that's really awesome. Now, Caleb and I have talked about our weaknesses, so now we would like to hear, even though we might not be able to hear from you. So, either talk amongst your friends or write it down. What are your weaknesses? Write those down, and next to that, write down how God can help you with those weaknesses. Caleb and I both gave examples, and we'd love to see what you have. And something I wrote down is, we often feel the need to compare ourselves to others and try to hide our weaknesses, especially to portray the best version of ourselves. And Caleb and I were talking about it, especially with like social media these days. You kind of see the best of everyone, and you kind of feel like you always need to be just showing the best of you and hide your weaknesses and just pretend that they don't exist and ignore them.
And we're not saying that to say that you should like go on social media and like make an Instagram or Snapchat post and say like, wow, I'm a terrible human being, like nah, 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 nah. Like that is definitely not what we're saying. I do agree that like we should be portraying the best of ourselves, and because we're trying to get to the best of ourselves. But we shouldn't look at other people and say, oh, they posted that they're at the beach today and I'm sitting on my couch watching Netflix, I'm a terrible human being. That's not what should be happening. We should be looking at it and say, great for them, they're at the beach, I'm going to go next week. Or great for them, they're hanging out with their friends, I'm going to hang out with my friends tomorrow. We shouldn't be comparing ourselves with other people and thinking that they're better than us because of what they're putting on social media, which is, again, something that I struggle with a lot. I scroll through Instagram and I see all these posts, all these stories of people just living life while I'm sitting on my couch watching Netflix. And I start to rag on myself and I say, Caleb, like, what are you doing with your life? You're just wasting your life away. But people on social media are only putting what they want you to see or what they want other people to see. And we shouldn't take that and run with it and think that that is just the whole person's life. But further than that, I don't even think that's the issue. Further than that, I think the issue is comparing ourselves with other people and trying to be someone who we're not, and trying to be something or someone that other people aren't even. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and trying to pretend that our weaknesses don't exist, that we're perfect people, because no one is perfect but God, and we can try to be like Him, but we are sinful beings. We are not perfect. And something the lesson said is that we all have people in our lives that we feel like we have to wear a mask around and pretend that we are someone who we aren't. But we want to challenge you this week to be authentic, to embrace your weaknesses, and to just give it all to God.
Amen.
Yeah.
And we're wrapping up here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just want to say one more thing about like being authentic, and I think it's easier to be authentic to when we recognize where we're from and who we are. And for me, that comes through the verse Hebrews 10:14. It says, "For by one sacrifice He has made perfect forever those who are being made holy." And so whenever I struggle with my identity and where to be authentic, I go back to that verse and I look at God and I see the sacrifice that He made for me through the death of His Son, Jesus Christ. and I see that Christ's perfection covers my imperfection. And so from that point forward, I have been made perfect. And I'm on my way to holiness. And that is the reality that I choose to live in. So when I am telling myself, Caleb, I need to be authentic, I look back to that verse and I say, that right there is what I need to show. That right there is my authenticity. So I am perfect through Christ. And I am being made holy. Perfect, but on my way to holiness.
We love that, guys. Be authentic, embrace your weaknesses, and just give it all to God. Thanks
Amen.
for joining us today, and have a great rest of your day. Happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath.